What's up, guys? Let's find some plays before the game starts. So we got a good game. We got a good D-backs game. And then we have Astros Rangers tonight, as well as the Jaguars. And we're going to look for some plays on PrizePicks. We're going to look for, kind of clear out the board. I'm on the Jaguars money line. That's my biggest play of the night. I'm also on the Astros first half point spread, not point spread, run line, whatever. But anyways, without further ado, let's just look for some plays. So we can start out on PrizePicks, Fliff. I try to focus on all the main books in these videos, like Fliff, for example. Fliff has some problems. They can be a little annoying at times, but overall, still a good book to have. It's also just legal in a ton of states. So the first play I'm going to go with is Jason Robertson. This is in the Stars game. Over 3.5 shots on goal. You can see books are moving his line. It looks like a bit towards his over. You can kind of pull up the line movements. And again, kind of the key to sports betting, it's data, right? It's not about sports. It's really about following and understanding, kind of what's going on. So this is going to be the first play I lock in. Fliff has a max bet size of 250. So that's typically what I'm hitting stuff for. And again, Fliff coins are fake money. They don't really do anything. So you want to use Fliff cash. That's real money. But again, you can see right here, Fliff is the only sports book with Jason Robertson's under favored, right? Every other sports book has his over favored, or they have equal odds on the over and the under. Fliff we're getting an underdog price, plus 100, plus money on Jason Robertson over 3.5 shots on goal. But FanDuel, Bet Online, a pretty sharp sports book, all these books have Jason Robertson favored to go over 3.5 shots on goal. So that play seems good. But anyways, we can go over to PrizePicks as well, kind of load it up, see what's out there. And again, plus 100 odds is like flipping a coin with a friend for $100, right? That's what plus 100 is. You either win 100 or you lose 100 if your unit size is $100. But the coin or the bet is weighted in our favor, right? All the sports books have his over favored, aside from Fliff. Points bet, right? All these books are data points. They all have his over favored. So it's like finding a coin weighted in your favor. But anyways, that's the first play we locked in for tonight. So anyways, let's go to PrizePicks. So we can start out on PrizePicks, and damn, there's a fair amount of esports line discrepancies right now. It looks like a lot of esports lines coming up, so that's great. We can look at Underdog Fantasy as well. I say it in every video, but I try to use the main books that are legal in the most states, but I'm not only going to focus on PrizePicks or something like that, because again, you never know where the value is going to be on a given day. Sometimes there's good bets on PrizePicks. Sometimes there's more value on, ParlayPlay. So having more books is better. But anyways, what we can do is we can kind of refresh this, and there's actually a fair amount of good plays. I mean, might as well lock in one more on Fliff so you can see this total. Plus 120 on Fliff. Betting on Fliff and traditional sports books like FanDuel is pretty easy. You just find value in the market, good prices. It's very similar, the concept of positive EV betting, because everything's baked into the odds that sports books are putting out, right? Lineups, injuries, home or away, sharp action, everything's baked into the market. These books are constantly moving around lines, kind of based on what's going on. If you look at the Jaguars game, for example, so if we pull up the Jags game, once it loads, as you can see, lines have been kind of crazy in this game because Trevor Lawrence is a little questionable. So lines initially ripped towards the Saints. Now it seems like Trevor Lawrence is good to go. They bounce back towards the Jaguars. So the market's always kind of reacting to information. So you want to follow sportsbook odds because it encompasses everything. The weather, everything is encompassed into the odds. So here's another good play on Fliff we can lock in. But anyways, let's look for some PrizePicks plays or Underdog Fantasy, something like that. So there's a lot of esports line discrepancies, but it's kind of hard to play a lot of these. Esports is a great sport to bet on because there's so many games, right? If you think about the NFL, there's one game tonight. It's pretty easy for sportsbooks to manage their lines. Not that we don't find good NFL bets, but It's only one game, right? It's not that hard for them to manage their lines. But you can see here, like esports, I mean, there are so many games every single day. And again, all these books are trying to set lines independently, and sometimes they screw up. So if you look here on Underdog, they have this player. Come on, search. They have Collins' line at 17.5 headshots. And then if we go over to PrizePicks, I'm not sure why this is loading kind of slow, but they have his line at 19.5. So it's like, okay, like that's interesting. I mean, it's crazy, right? Like it's the same bet. It's like the price of a stock being different on Fidelity versus E-Trade. It doesn't make any sense. But all these books, you know, want to set their own lines. And that's why sports betting is profitable. The market is so fragmented. All these books have different lines. But it's not really clear here. It's not like FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars. They don't post esports lines. So it's not really clear, like, okay, is Underdog screwing up or is PrizePicks? But what you could do is you could middle bet this, right? You could hit the over 17.5 on Underdog, the under 19.5 on PrizePicks. And then if Collins has 18 or 19 headshots in the first two maps, you're going to win your under, you're going to win your over. So that's a really good strategy to use when you don't have a ton of data points on just kind of like where the line should be set. But maybe first, let's just see, you know, so a lot of esports, like here, there's only JockMKT and Underdog posting lines. So those plays aren't as enticing, but here we go. Well, this is an early NFL bet for Sunday in the Ravens-Lions game. So Ravens-Lions is the first play it's recommending is Smith over 9.5 tackles plus assists. So let's take a look at this play. This play seems pretty good, you know, to go with. Hopefully Trevor Lawrence is good to go because I have money on the Jaguars, and I know it's been a little iffy. But again, like the way that Underdog Fantasy works is if you go over to like, you know, defensive props, you'll see Smith, he's heavily favored on all these sports books. Like DraftKings has him, you know, as a minus 145 favorite. So he's favored to go over, right? It's more likely that he goes over according to all the sports books. And we have tons of data points. Barstool, Caesars has this all the way up at minus 170. So all these books are telling us, yo, he's more likely to go over as opposed to under. And again, the way that Underdog Fantasy works is they have fixed payouts, right? If we take him over or under, it doesn't matter. Like it's fixed payouts, right? Like any 2-pick entry has a 3x payout. So the entire platform, you know, it just boils down to what percentage of your picks can you win. So, and then it's the same thing here for the second play, which is, you know, Jenkins. So this plays for tonight, for Thursday Night Football. And now we have a nice little 3-pick entry, all overs, and we can go ahead and we can lock this in. Trying to move quickly because the game starts soon, and hopefully there's a lot of bets out there. So anyways, let's refresh this. How we looking? So we got our boy Brandon under 4 hits. I mean, we got some decent looking plays for tonight. But anyways, here we go. 3-pick entry. And again, I play a lot of 3-pick entries on Underdog. They give you 100 to win 600, a 6x payout. Whereas PrizePicks is kind of, you know, kind of crappy. They only give you a 5x payout. So like, you know, it does matter on these platforms. Just kind of like how many picks you're going with. But anyways, what we can do too is, again, like, you know, I try to focus on the main books in these videos, but depending on where you're located, you know, you may use different sports books. That's what's kind of annoying about sports betting is all these books, like the laws are so weird that they're, you know, all these books are only legal in certain places. So you can see there's some good bets on FanDuel, over 20.5 first half total points in the game. Right? All the other books are around like, you know, plus 100, plus 105-ish. We're getting plus 115 on FanDuel. That seems pretty good. You got some plays on Hot Streak. Derek Carr over 21.5 completions. A lot of plays. But anyways, let's go back here and let's kind of look for, you know, what do we want to look at? FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, Fliff, all the main books we can kind of look at. Underdog Fantasy, WinBet, and then we have ParlayPlay right here. Where are you, baby? Here it is, ParlayPlay 6-pick entry. So we have this play on Jason Robertson. This I already bet. You know, some early bets for Sunday, whatever. Well, what we can do is, so we have some plays on Underdog. I won't middle anything. Middling's just, it's kind of boring. But it does look like maybe do we have enough plays on PrizePicks to make a slip? There's some esports value. And again, there's some good touchdown bets as well. So for example, Travis Etienne to not score a touchdown. I think this play is really good on PrizePicks. And again, PrizePicks is the same as Underdog Fantasy, right? Like they're going to give you the same damn payout if you take him to score or to not score, right? Like his under, let's go here, right? If we take him to go under, we're getting a 3x payout, over 3x payout. So what you want to do is you just want to see like sharp betting strategy on PrizePicks is you just want to see like what play is more likely. You want plays with the highest possible win rate. So ETN, you can see he's heavily favored to not score a touchdown. Minus 160 on Fliff. Like all these books have his under really heavily favored. And of course, if you don't like him to not score a touchdown, you don't have to take it. I have him in a few slips to, not score a touchdown. And a lot of the values on the unders, like I've said this in previous live streams, there's a lot about Cooper Kupp, heavily favored to not score a touchdown, Obviously, Raheem has had a crazy good season, multiple 3+ touchdown games, but heavily favored to not score a touchdown against the Eagles defense. And the market doesn't lie, right? Like if he should be favored to score a touchdown, all the sharp bettors would come in and hammer him at underdog odds to score a touchdown, right? And then the line would move towards his over. These books are constantly moving around odds. They know which other customers are most profitable. And if all the sharps start hammering him to score at plus 110, they'll move the line, right? These books aren't stupid. So anyways, what do we like for tonight? So we can go back here to PrizePicks, and we can start to build a slip. Let's see what we got. So what plays do I have? So you can see we have Peanut under 2.5. I already have this from a previous live stream. It looks like PrizePicks is still letting it sit. And again, like there can be good plays on PrizePicks. Sometimes there's more plays. That's why I recommend having more books, right? Like ParlayPlay, this platform only has a max bet size of $60. I've only used it for like 4 months, up almost $7,000 in profit. And again, not every bet's going to win, but quite simply just following the data. Everything's baked into the market, right? If this guy's line should be at 5, all the sharps would have already betted up to 5. But all these books have his line lower. And, that indicates to us that, hey, there's value on his under. So this is a League of Legends play. So we can go over here. We can go to our boy Peanut, and we can take him under 2.5. And let's see if there's anything new. Ideally, we can find some new plays on this platform. So we can just see like, what do you got for us? What do you got for us, Odds Jam? So this play, you only have 2 data points, not as enticing. But this play looks, you have a few more data points. We have Carzy over 3.5. So we can go here. Build a little League of Legends slip. So hopefully our NFL plays that we're going to go with win. And, screw it. I'll throw in, ETN to not score a touchdown for tonight. Right? So hopefully Travis doesn't score a touchdown. He's favored to not score a touchdown. And there's tons of sources of information you can look at to see this. So like this is called the Betfair Exchange. It's a peer-to-peer betting website. And you can see here, right, like he's favored. He's an underdog to score a touchdown. Once again, like you can look at peer. They have things in decimal odds. Kamara, not favored to score a touchdown. Obviously, some of these players are going to score, but, like I don't think there's any player in this game who is favored to score a touchdown. So what else do we got? Damn. So there's actually a fair amount of PrizePicks plays. And some of these pair well together. So kind of like if you're betting on the NFL, right, it would make sense to, if we wanted to take, because PrizePicks has fixed payouts, like if you want to take Trevor Lawrence over, it probably makes sense to take Christian Kirk over, his receiver. You're getting a 10x, this is your payout. It wouldn't make any sense to take Kirk's under with Trevor Lawrence's over because PrizePicks has fixed payouts. So you do want to be a little, cognizant of correlation and use it to your advantage when you can. So essentially in League of Legends, if you just, look through League of Legends correlation, what you'll see is players on the same team are positively correlated to go the same direction. So in other words, aiming going over is positively correlated with BDD going over. And you can see Underdog ParlayPlay both have their lines higher. So that seems like a pretty good play to go with. So anyways, what's this final play? Nuke versus Mad Lions. So we can see here, a lot of League of Legends in here. So we currently have 5 players selected. We can see, how does this line up? Our boy Nuke. Check him out. Just clear out the value. So this play would not pair well together. It's recommending we take the over. So you don't want to take players on opposing teams to both go over. So this would be a good play to pair if there were value on the under, but there's not. And again, PrizePicks isn't as exciting of a platform to me anymore. I know it's popular, but they only give me a $25 max bet size, which is annoying for any play I want to go with. So this is kind of what we can lock in. Positive correlation on these 2 plays. We got to play for, Thursday Night Football, and then these plays aren't correlated, but really good value on them. So then what we can do is we can just be like, cool, let's go over to parlay play. Just kind of bouncing around from book to book. So parlay play, we locked in some plays earlier. And again, the hard part isn't really the strategy, making money sports betting. It's not hard, necessarily to do. Anyone can do it. The hard part is this, it just takes time. It takes a lot of time. So here we can see, we have some plays open. So we already have this play on Marcus May. So what we can do, we're not going to be able to rebet it. So it looks like there's some good plays, but again, on parlay play, the optimal slip type is 6 pick entries. And a lot of these plays I've already bet. So it's okay, am I even going to be able to, find 6 picks to go with? So if we go to rushing yards, we can take a look at Kenneth Walker. And you can see here, all the books have his line at 72.5, right? You have all these billion-dollar companies, Caesars, FanDuel. They have really good models, really good data feeds. They know how to set lines. They all have this line at 72.5. And then parlay play is just sitting at 77.5. So again, I follow a very data-driven approach. Never let my gut, emotions, whatever, get in the way. Just straight up follow the data. It's not necessarily the most exciting thing in the world, but there's not going to be enough value to place a bet on this platform anyways. So one strategy I recommend too, this play I gave out on Twitter, it's an arbitrage bet, is arbitrage is when these books, again, all these books set lines independently, which is why sports betting is, so profitable, or can be so profitable. Once you understand the strategy, is all these books set lines independently, right? So you think about the price of Facebook, right? This is the price on Fidelity, Robinhood, E-Trade. The market's too efficient. There's no discrepancies. But in the United States, there's hundreds of sports books. Granted, they're not all going to be legal in your location, but they're all trying to set lines independently. And sometimes they screw up, really big, and you can bet equal and opposite outcomes to make a risk-free profit. So for example, I'm on this Akron total. So I got a ton of picks open on Fliff, 32 picks open, but I'm on this under 41.5 for $250. And essentially, if you use DraftKings, you can turn this into Fliff has a max bet size of 250. So I put that into the arbitrage calculator. It tells me, hey, if you bet 195 on DraftKings, because they're screwing up their odds, there's such a big discrepancy, you will make a risk-free profit of $13.30, right? So we have the over 41.5, and then we have the under 41.5. And this will take me 2 seconds. Then we'll lock in some bets. But this is how I started sports betting. made my first $30,000 is just arbitrage betting. So I think it's a really important concept to kind of, understand. So we bet 250 on Fliff and 195 on DraftKings. You just follow the calculator, and maybe if your unit size is different, $100, and then you'll make $5 risk-free. Build it up. Like when I started arbitrage betting, I was doing like $50 a bet, kind of built it up. But we can go through the math, right? So if the game goes, these are equal and opposite outcomes, right? So it's kind of like buying a stock. If you could, it's never going to happen. But if you could buy a stock at 120 and then sell it immediately at 135, you'd make a risk-free profit. But of course, you're not going to be able to do that in the stock market. But how does this work out? So if the game goes over, on DraftKings, we're up 195 times 1.35, right? We bet 195 at plus 135 odds. We're up 263. On Fliff, we're down 250. So I got to switch those. So we make $13. On the other hand, if the game goes under on DraftKings, we lose $195. Game goes under. On Fliff, we're up 250 times 100 over 120. We bet 250 at minus 120 odds. So we make $13 no matter what. That's arbitrage betting. And it's hard work. You got to take the time to put in the bets. It's not something that's like, you can just be lazy about and do. Like you got to put in the work to, kind of do it, but you can make a lot of money doing it. But anyways, we can go back here. You can see lines are still moving towards the over, it looks like. Now this is arbitrage to pinnacle. So what's interesting about arbitrage is, right, if you can place a bet on DraftKings on the over and on Fliff on the under and make a risk-free profit of 2.9%, obviously one of these bets has to be profitable by definition. If you can bet both the over and the under and make risk-free money, one of those bets has to be profitable. So here, Fliff is an arb to DraftKings or to Pinnacle. Fliff is an arb to Pinnacle. So one of these bets has to be profitable. Either Pinnacle screwing up or Fliff is screwing up. But again, Pinnacle is known to be the sharpest or the smartest sports book out there, the sharpest bookmaker. So this just makes you like this plus 120 even more because it's clear like, hey, Fliff is screwing up. Their line. Anyways, there's a lot more bets out there, but whatever. We'll call it a day for now and enjoy the game. Hopefully your bets go well. And thanks so much for tuning in.